Major changes coming to YouTube's partner program. Hi, I'm ex-TV producer Jennifer Moore, and if you're a YouTuber, I'm sure you've already heard YouTube is making some pretty major changes to its YouTube partner program, which means your videos are eligible for monetization or ads rolling on the videos, and the creator gets a percentage of that revenue. So the new standard YouTube is putting in place as of February 20th is that your channel needs to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, hours, not minutes, in the past 12 months. Previously, YouTube had rolled out a new threshold of 10,000 lifetime views, so they've upped it from the 10,000 lifetime views to both the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time. That equates to 240,000 minutes, which is a pretty big feat for a small YouTuber. On the YouTube creator blog, YouTube cited a desire to weed out some of the bad actors on the platform by introducing these new standards. And it says that once you reach that threshold, you will have your channel evaluated under some strict criteria, which we don't exactly know what that is yet, and evaluate. And if your channel meets all of their standards, you can join the partner program. Also, this means if your channel is already in the partner program and you don't meet the threshold, you have about 30 days to meet the threshold, otherwise you will actually be kicked out. And I know this is a pretty tough blow for some smaller creators who may have been in the partner program for years, and while it didn't make them a huge amount of money, it made them a little something every month, and they seem to really appreciate that. So I've talked to some folks and they seem kind of disappointed, and understandably so. So this video is really not a rant or complaint, but I do want to share some thoughts as an ex-TV news producer who actually quit my job at CNN to pursue YouTube full-time. Obviously, I have a lot of faith and optimism in digital media like YouTube and other platforms that may come along after YouTube. I have 4 channels in our household between my husband and I. As of this new announcement rollout, only one of them will be able to be monetized. I have a sewing channel, and then my husband actually has a channel that he did some videos. He produced some pretty good quality evergreen videos, like about cooking or about, home improvement. And those videos really do continue to get views, and that channel makes anywhere between $75 and $90 a month. We are well over the watch time threshold, but we only have 835 subscribers as of now. So if we don't get that additional 165, we're actually going to get kicked out of the program. And I got to be honest, that's a bit disappointing. While no, we don't rely on the AdSense money every month, and we're clearly not doing YouTube for money because none of my channels have made me rich, but it was kind of a nice thing to get every month, and kind of helps you kind of justify your time and energy into doing YouTube, and also maybe helping to defray the cost of things you buy, or your camera gear and stuff like that. So if you're a small creator out there, I'm also a small creator, and I totally feel you. I do have some questions about where YouTube is all going with this. I'm not exactly sure how just weeding out smaller channels is really going to help get rid of those quote-unquote bad actors, as from what I've seen, the bad actors can be from huge channels and also from small channels. So it's really not something that's necessarily based on audience size or view time, watch time. So I guess I'm not really sure why the smaller creators are being penalized when really this doesn't really affect the larger channels. I've seen some huge channels with millions of subscribers that I really don't feel there's any value to their videos. And I've also watched a lot of smaller channels that offer what I feel is a tremendous value, and you can tell they really put their heart and soul into what they're doing, and I get some great information out of those. In fact, I follow a lot of niche channels myself, and a lot of the people I watch probably don't meet that threshold. So it is kind of disappointing to think that maybe those people might not make content anymore or might be driven away from the platform. I have seen comments kind of to the effect of, well, if that's would drive them away from the platform, they don't belong there anyway, or like, hey, instead of just relying on the AdSense money, you need to be marketing yourself in other ways too. But YouTubing and being a YouTube creator and a video producer is a lot of work. You put so much time into it. I've been on YouTube for 2 years, and I think I've probably made less than $2,000. Seriously, like less than $2,000. So I am clearly not doing this for the money. I'm doing it because I love creating videos and I just like coming up with these ideas and sharing some of the information that I feel might be valuable to other people. So most of the people I know who are on YouTube, they feel that way too. They're not in it for the money, but at the same time, even getting $100 a month or $50 a month means something to them. And I'm a little bit frustrated with YouTube for maybe not trying to work with some of these channels that have been in the program for a while. If their content is good and they have a clean record, maybe trying to grandfather some of those channels in and not just kicking them to the curb. Now, I fully realize YouTube is a corporation and not some sort of government entity, so YouTube pretty much can do whatever they want. But again, I would like to see YouTube apply some of their standards more consistently across all creators. It does feel like some of the channels or videos that get flagged or demonetized, that doesn't seem very standard across the board, and that is a criticism I have of YouTube. Now, obviously, I'm going to continue doing YouTube. I'm not going to stop producing videos, but this definitely has made me rethink my strategy. I have two channels that are not eligible for monetization. Actually, one of them, the Jen Talks Forever channel, became eligible under the 10,000 lifetime views threshold, so I applied for the program, and it had just been taking forever. So I was wondering if they were just backed up, and it turns out they really had no intention of actually letting me into the program. They just were waiting to roll out these new changes. So I do think that could have been better communicated to channels like mine. And the other channel, this channel actually that I've been experimenting with, clearly does not have the views or the subscribers to be in the YouTube Partner Program. This is just something I do for fun and because I thought it would be an interesting channel to do. But at the same time, I now have one channel that makes any sort of revenue. So, I mean, that's just something to think about. Like, do I not experiment as much with the channels that don't make money? Just because, again, this is something I'm now doing full time, and that's something to think about. You know, my household budget and our expenses. You know, again, and I think to the people that are in like New York or LA, you know, $100 may not be a lot of money there, but like to like a mom in Kansas or to maybe a college student in Ohio, you know, that does mean something. So I think taking that away it just feels a little bit rough. Another thing I'd like to address is advertising dollars. Traditional media outlets, digital outlets, pretty much everyone is fighting over all the ad money out there. And I saw one comment on Twitter, someone was saying, you know, media outlets, they do have a vested interest in seeing platforms like YouTube get hit with credibility issues because, again, they benefit because then those ad dollars might go back to them. And that is something to keep in mind when you're reading or watching something. Does the outlet reporting this information, what kind of interest do they have in the situation? So that's something to think about. I'm not saying that it goes one way or the other, but you do have to think whenever you're getting information from someone, what do they have to gain for it? It'll also be interesting to see if any viable competitors come along to YouTube. We've heard about Amazon Tube or OpenTube or whatever they're trademarking. Will Amazon come up with a platform that's similar enough to maybe lure some of those creators away? I think that'll be interesting to see. There could be maybe some other company that also seeing this maybe sees an opening for something that would compete with YouTube. And also Facebook. Facebook has yet to really monetize videos there, native videos, on a bigger level. Will Facebook try to do something like that? So I'm curious to see how this all shakes out. Of course, I'm still going to continue to do my thing here on YouTube. That is not going to change. Right now, I try to post between 5 and 6 videos a week on my various channels. And I am kind of bummed about my husband's channel getting demonetized because that's the only one we have not been able to regularly upload to just because his work situation doesn't really allow him the time to make videos anymore, and it used to. So that is not going to change on my end. But at the same time, if some other platform comes along, like this Amazon Tube, I would definitely be open to experimenting with it and seeing where that goes as well. Just because, again, I think if anything, this teaches you to diversify and not always put all your eggs in one basket. But at the same time, you know, again, I am still kind of frustrated and disappointed in YouTube's decision. I personally don't agree with it. And I don't know if I see this really accomplishing YouTube's goal of weeding out the bad actors on YouTube. I don't see how this would stop a larger channel from continuing to violate YouTube's terms of service. And really, this doesn't negatively impact the big channels. In fact, they could benefit from seeing additional ad revenue from all the other creators being dropped. So while it's good for some channels, I think this is also a very big negative for other channels. And it would be sad to see some of the smaller creators go, because I do think a lot of them have some value to the platform. You know now that it's going to be a bit of an uphill climb for you to get to the point where you might be able to make some AdSense dollars off your videos. So when I first joined YouTube a few years ago, there really was no standard for set amount of views. You just had to do some things and you could join the partner program, like, verify your email and stuff. Then they moved it to 10,000, and now it's at 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And another question I have is, what would stop YouTube from doing this again? What if they raise the bar to 100,000 subscribers and 1 million watch time hours? I mean, there's really nothing to say that wouldn't happen in the future if YouTube keeps wanting to kind of weed out more people. Anyways, I'm very curious to see how this all shakes out, but I'll still be here on YouTube. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you would like me to be your guide inside the media industry.